All right, I'm going to make a little video using these tiles. These are positive and negative tiles. This is going to be a positive. This will represent a negative number. And just as another way to model working with integers or positive and negative numbers, sometimes the number line doesn't always work for everyone. And so I want to give you another way to visualize what's going on. Just to help you, not everyone's the same, so I want to offer some different options for you. Okay, so, let's do an easy one first. Let's say we're going to do a positive plus a positive, and, so say we've got 3 positives, and we're going to add to that 2 positives, and so you can see we're combining all of our positives, and now we have 5. So 3 plus 2 equals 5. Okay? All right, that's a pretty easy one. Same thing with negatives. Say we only have negatives. Say we've got 2 negatives, and we want to add to that 4 negatives. Okay? So you can see all of them are negatives. So negative 2 plus negative 4 is going to give you a total of 6 negatives. All right, those are the easy ones. When all the numbers are the same sign, you just add them up, you combine them. It gets a little more challenging when you've got positives and negatives. And so before I get into an example of a positive and negative problem, let's first talk about zero pairs. So when you have say a positive paired up with a negative, so like this is a positive 1, and this would be a negative 1, they cancel each other out. I have $1, but I owe $1, so now I have no money left. Okay, so these are called zero pairs, and they basically cancel each other out. All right, so now let's think about adding a positive number with a negative number. And remember, in a previous video, when we talked about adding, especially with the number line or adding just in general integers, there are 3 outcomes that we're going to get. Our answer is either going to be a positive number, a negative number, or 0. And so I'm going to give you 3 example for each problem, each type of problem. So let's say we have 3 positives. Okay, 3 positives. And I'm going to add to that mix 2 negatives. Okay, so 3 plus negative 2. And that's what the problem's going to look like mathematically. But this is, with the model. Now remember, we talked about zero pairs. A positive paired with a negative is going to cancel it. So I'm just going to move away the 0 pairs. Okay, and what's left is my result, a positive 1. And remember, when you have a positive and you're adding a negative, you're not really adding those numbers, you're subtracting, and the answer is going to take the sign of the larger number. So we had more positives, that's why our answer is going to be a positive. Let's do the second scenario. Let's say again we've got 3 positives, and we're going to add to that 4 negatives. Okay, so 3 plus negative 4. Again, visually, I'm going to take my 0 pairs off, out of the problem, and notice what's left is just a negative 1. Okay. And the last setup is when we have the same amount of positives with the same amount of negatives. So positive 3 plus negative 3, those are going to cancel out, and we're left with nothing. Okay, so here we've got the 3 problems. When you have a positive plus a negative, your answer is going to either be a positive answer, a negative answer, or 0.